Hello everyone. Welcome to Code with Mike Friday on a Wednesday. This is Christmas Eve and my schedule is once again different this week, of course, so I'm getting my third video in for the day. And when last we left off, we changed the tweet count function over to the request object, which you can see sitting here. And after we're done, we did a git push, and we did all that directly from Linux, which you can see here. And you can see when we're on localhost colon 8888, we're serving Pipulate. Now, what I'm going to do is demonstrate the meaninglessness of what particular platform you're on so long as you're using Python and Git. So I'm just going to close out of Linux, do a refresh here. You'll see the service goes away. But I am going to do a git pull down to my desktop. cd tilde slash desktop git clone https colon slash slash github.com slash username slash project name. And there you go, directory on my desktop. It pulled down nearly instantaneously. I'm going to check what version of Python I have. It's 2.7.2. That's perfect for Pipulate. Exit. And now I can cd into Pipulate and go Python Pipulate. And the server's running. And we go back here, we do a refresh. Bam, Pipulate is back. So Linux native desktop hosted on a cloud server doesn't really matter. But my preference right now is to do it on my desktop because things are a bit quicker. And so I will open a new tab. Actually, I'm going to break out this server because I like seeing the server start and stop. So I make this nice and small. I just put it somewhere where I can see it when a refresh occurs. And so now if I just do refreshes here, you can see new page loads occurring there. That's, I think, a nice feature. And now I can vim. Well, I'll do an ls so you see what I'm dealing with here. Those PYC files are compiled Python. You can pretty much ignore them. They'll be recreated as they need to be. But we are going to vim functions, where we just were when we created that tweet function. And we are now going to create a Google +1 function today. I feel is our next logical step. And I had done some Googling before sitting down for the video. And I Googled get Google +1 count. And lo and behold, there is get the share counts from various APIs. This is already a project in GitHub, so that's wonderful. Instead of like incorporating in his whole project directly, actually it looks like it might just be documentation. I've always struggled with. He's just documenting it for everyone's sake. And here is Google+. And that is the shape of the request that needs to get sent to the API. So we are going to have to figure out how to post this object to this URL. Pause. Well, I'll let you discover it right along with me. So I went to the browser and started typing requests post, and there's a suggestion right there. I doubt it's going to be very difficult. Oh, and there once again is the very home page of the request object that I already have open. But I'm going to see what's in this, this specific page here. So let's search for JSON. JSON response content. That's not particularly what we want. We want JSON on the request. Oh, here we go. We will have to import JSON, it seems. If you'd like to add HTTP headers to a request, simply pass a dictionary object. For example, okay, so there's a payload. Payload equals, and that's a standard, let's see. Yeah, that's a standard dictionary object in Python. So it gets converted to real JSON right at this moment with the JSON dumps from an import of the library. So we'll start coding that up right here. Let's make this nice and narrow. Okay, that'll do it. GG to jump to the bottom, or Shift G to jump to the bottom, O to start a new thing, def to define a function, pluses, P-L-U-S-S-E-S, pluses. Open parenthesis URL, close parenthesis colon, and let's see, import JSON, and let's see, the URL, well, there's already, this is the, I'm going to call it, I'll stay consistent, API equals, open double quote, go to that GitHub project. This is our API URL. There's a your API key in here. I'm just going to pick up that much. And paste, close double quotes, and now we are going to have to construct this JSON object. And let's see, okay. So we're going to use this technique where Python can span multiple lines if you use triple quotes. So this is going to be JOBJ, our JSON object. It's of course Python native right now, but it soon will be JSON. Oh, I'm going to hit escape, colon, set paste, so that there's not funky wraps. Shift A to go into append mode, and then let's see, paste. Oh, that's not what I want to paste at all. I need to copy this and paste here. And close it with the triple quotes. Do an indent to the same point as we started here. That would be out one more. Now I'm going to do an interesting trick here where I can do the percent sign, parenthesis, URL. That's going to be the parameter. It's going to be a, yeah, that's going to be passed in. We need the parameter that we're doing the lookup on right in here. This is the guy. ID, colon. Is that it? Method. ID, params, no log ID, source, user ID, widget. Yeah, for lack of anything else that it possibly could be. So we put %s to stick URL there as the string. So this is string formatting. We're taking URL that was passed in as the parameter here, and we're sticking it right here as this JOBJ dictionary gets built. It's still a Python native dictionary. So we're in the home stretch, I believe. Like the function above it, we can get a response object, RESP OBJ equals, let's see, that's going to be requests, requests dot get API. And it's not really plus URL. That's this other example I was finding here. Oh, it's not get. It is, in this case, a post. Requests.post. URL data equals, okay, API in this case. Data equals json.dumps payload. And there's a close parenthesis there. Now I'm going to see what this payload sum colon data. Payload equals sum. Okay. Headers equals headers. Are they setting headers here? URL. It doesn't seem like I have any particular headers stuff to post. So I think it'll work just fine like this. Print r.text. It may serve us well in order to test this, to put it into the interactive interpreter. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to open this bigger. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to finish the function by doing exactly what they say, which is print r.text. Print response object.text. And this should be fine for testing to make sure we have a Google +1 object function. +1, okay, well, you get it. Python, paste, the function's in there now. Now all I have to do is say pluses, http://mikelev.in. Okay, global, oh yeah, I have to import requests. I don't have requests on my Python native setup here. I haven't installed it yet, so I'm going to exit. And I'm going to do pip install requests. Got to do it as a super user. Sudo pip install requests. Much better. Successfully installed. Python. Now all that stuff is no longer in memory, so I go back here, copy, go back here, paste. And then pluses. Okay. Oh yeah, back where we were. Error name payload is not defined. Okay. I need to put the function back in, but correctly this time. It's not a payload, it's JOBJ. Change word JOBJ. Save it for later. Copy it. Go over to the interactive interpreter, paste it in. It will replace the old function that was there. And then find, it would have probably been easier to just retype it. Okay, response object has no, okay, one more time. Text. Almost there. Okay, error, some sort of error, invalid parameter. So 400, invalid request data domain global. Reason, invalid parameter. I pause. Okay, we're back and I got it to work. So I went down, continuing to look at the examples. It says more complicated post requests, but quite frankly, it's more similar. There's a payload that's constructed as a native Python dictionary, and there's data equals payload, and it seems like it was submitted as a JSON object. So what I did is I just actually removed the import JSON that was up here and got rid of the dump stuff that was here. It's actually much simpler. So when I pick this up, I go copy, I go over here, and I paste that in. Now if I go pluses, let's say http www.reddit.com. Is that one or two D's? We'll know in a second. Yes, I guess I got it right. There's the count right there. So it's kind of buried inside an object. So we need to reach into that object into the correct location. So we can probably, I believe, operate on it just like it's native Python. So one moment. Ah, yes, of course. Just like we did in the above function, when we got response object.json, that's what turned it into a native Python dictionary. So the same thing here, response object.json, open, close, and that's adict equals, and dump that in over here. And now I can go my obj equals pluses okay. And now if I just type that, oh, interesting. Print none, okay. Oh yeah, well we have to return it. I didn't return anything, did I? We have to return adict. Paste. Find that guy real quick if we can. OBJ. Voila! Now we have something that we can sort of reach into, and we can do the experimentation here in the interactive command console. And you can look at the name value pairs. So it's sometimes a bit tricky, and we're going to look back at the original documentation about how stuff gets sent back. Well, actually, we're going to peel away progressively. You can see open curly bracket, open curly bracket. So we're dealing with children of children. So I could probably print my obj square bracket and then that index for result. And that's going to bring us one level deeper into the object. We can see the count we're going for is this 318. So now there's an open curly bracket, and we're scanning to see if there's another open curly bracket. Yes, yes there is, and its name is metadata. So now we're going to do the next index, which is metadata. Aha! Okay, we're zeroing in more. So we have an open curly bracket and yet another open curly bracket, and that's global counts. So global counts. This isn't always the most direct thing. The APIs from Google are not always the most straightforward. You feed the web service a JSON object, you get back a JSON object. So you need to know how to construct this convoluted thing for the request, and then you need to know how to receive back this convoluted thing and reach inside it for the value that you want, which ultimately is this +1 function. And this is the important part here, because our function now can be made to return that directly. And that is a kind of it. There's, I'm sure, more to this exercise, like I'd like to maybe chop off that trailing slash, but we just put this into the Pipulate system. So we now have a function called pluses. I can go over here. Now this is the magic. This is what it's all about. This is why there were months leading up to this. Where the heck is that spreadsheet? I'll have to bring it back. Okay, here's the spreadsheet. There is no longer a function named foo. Get rid of that. It's no longer the plural of, well, there's no longer the tweets 2. I'll just call that tweets, and I'll get rid of this one. And then I'll put in pluses. We should have really just made a pluses function. And I could put in some error checking, but for now this will be fine. Now you'll remember this Pipulate bookmarklet was dragged over from when it was Linux. But one of the wonderful things is localhost is localhost, whether or not I'm funneling it through Linux or doing it natively on the desktop. Pipulate, oh, gotta log in. Log in with Google. Accept Pipulate. Did we just make a +1 function? Drum roll, please. Let's see. Global name request is not defined. Well, you got to remember to import things, don't you? Refresh. Not sure if I'm going to have to hit the button again. Yep, let's just close that, open it back up, Pipulate it. Drum roll, please, again. Voila! Now you have a +1 function. You can get your tweets, you can get your pluses, and pretty soon it'll be your Facebook shares and everything, because when you go over to this, it's so easy to just lift these things up. I could probably do that in about 2 seconds compared to what it took for the much more complicated Google Plus API. Oh, there's what it returns. I could have saved myself a little time. But anyway, you get the idea. We just expanded Pipulate, went from just counting tweets to now counting tweets and +1s. Send me your feedback. What do you think is important? Obviously the Facebook stuff, but I could go in many directions from here. And I want to hear from you. So thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you again soon. And don't forget to subscribe.